What's up, Big Reviews here, back again with another video. Now, if you saw my Joker trailer reaction or my Twisters review, I might be in the same hat and the same shirt. That's because I am. I'm recording all these videos at once. I swear I don't wear the same clothes every day. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about The Boys Season 4. Now, I don't think I've ever really talked about The Boys on this channel, even though I'm a big fan of The Boys. My friend got me into the show right when Season 3 was starting, so I did not start at the beginning. But I always saw memes, and I feel like memes keep this show alive even in the 2 years it takes in between seasons. I kept seeing Homelander memes, the deep memes, and I always found them funny, but once you see the show, they're more funny than as without. But this show is phenomenal. I mean, it takes the superhero genre and just flips it on its head. I mean, it's along the same lines as Invincible in the sense that it's superhero, but, you know, still new stuff, and it's not the generic stuff. And if you've never seen The Boys, it's basically a satire on how big companies run America and stuff such as like the MCU and stuff, and how these companies, you know, like for example, Maeve is bi in the show, and it's supposed to be like, oh, you're bi, okay, cool, whatever. And then Vought, who is like the main company who owns the soups and all that, makes like, you know, all these things for her being gay. They do it, but you can tell they don't really care. They're just doing it for monetary value. And so that's just how, because that's how companies are in real life. So it just basically tackles all of those types of things, right? And it's great. And season 4 was great. Now, I do think season 4 is the weakest season of the show. And if it's not the weakest, then it's the second weakest, and season 2 is the weakest. But no, I think this season is the weakest season, which doesn't mean it's bad. When you say a season of The Boys is bad, it's still 99% better than anything on the market right now, especially to do with superheroes. It wasn't even that it was bad. It was just more like the first, I'd say like half of the season was just kind of low-key filler, and I know it's set up. This season's basically setting up for the next season, which is season 5, which is the final season, and I'm so glad they're like finalizing it next season, and you know, they know their end, like Breaking Bad, because shows keep going on and on, they're not going to be good. But this is definitely a setup. We get new characters, we get arcs that still haven't even completed because we have to get into the finale, season 5, and have it complete there. But the episodes that do actually like progress the story and are really good in this season are really good. The first 3 episodes are good, but they are kind of slow, and they're just getting you used to these new characters and where everyone's been the past year since the last season. But then season 4, you get this amazing episode with Homelander going to the lab where he was studied on, and they almost make you feel bad for Homelander, which you never can. I mean, you can kind of feel bad for him, but then again, he's irredeemable, and I'm glad the show knows that. And it's this great episode because, you know, this is the one thing that was holding him back. He's always talking about humanity and stuff. He needed to face his childhood before he can move forward into this final whatever he wants to be in the, you know, in the end, which he wants to rule USA and the world and stuff, right? But he's always struggled with the humanity side, and he wonders why he lacks that and why he loves human attention even though that he hates humans. And so he goes back to where he was made, and that episode was phenomenal. And then episode 5 was pretty good. 6 is probably the most divisive episode of the season, and maybe even the whole show. There's one major thing that happens throughout this whole season that I'm not a fan of. I know a lot of people aren't, and that's how they treat Huey. So as much as they joke about, you know, there's the satire, like, oh, Maeve being bi and how people react to that, or like celebrities acting like they give a damn about the common people and all that, they never fuck with sexual assault, and that's good. You know, you're not going to joke about sexual assault, except it happens to Huey. Huey gets sexually assaulted in this season like 2 or 3 times. This season alone, like 3 episodes back to back, and it's played for like laughs, and I just don't know if it was executed well. We'll get into some spoilers now, guys. So if you haven't seen, but quick thing before the spoilers: Anthony Starr, he needs an Emmy. He's amazing as Homelander. This whole cast is phenomenal. The acting was the best it's ever been, and the finale is one of the best finales I've ever seen, right? But I have to talk about spoilers here because there's so much that happened. Basically, like episode 6, they go to Tech Knight's house and he gets sexually assaulted, and that's like literally half the episode. He's like in a gimp suit, he's like locked up, and it's played for laughs. Like, yeah, the stuff that's going on, like it's just so bizarre that it's almost funny in the sense, like some of the stuff they're doing. But then no one really takes it serious when he gets out of it. There's like one scene at the end of that episode where he cries to Starlight, and he's like, I'm not okay. And I was like, oh wow, maybe in the next episode we'll see more of him dealing with this stuff. Nope, this goes on. And then he gets sexually assaulted again in the finale by the shapeshifter who takes Annie's looks, and they have sex like 20 times. That's rape, I'm pretty sure, or sexual assault, or one of those things, because that's not the real Starlight. And Starlight has the nerve in the finale to get mad at him for a little bit. And if you guys don't know, the way that the shapeshifter works is she gets all of you. So if she were to take over me, she get all of my memories, my exact looks, and it's basically me. So it's not just like the look of me. It's like every memory, all this shit, right? So she says these memories that are like deep rooted in Starlight, right? So to make Huey believe. And then Starlight, the real Starlight, after they defeat her, gets pissed at him that they had sex. Like Starlight, Huey was like raped by this person, right? And you know, because you got taken by her, that she has all your memories, and she even told you how she convinced Huey that she was real, right? That did not stand well to me. I hope Huey gets his happy ending, and I hope they address that a little bit, because that was kind of fucked up, in my opinion. I saw a lot of people, that was like a lot of people's big thing about this season too, but Huey actually does have a good arc in this season, in my opinion, other than that, which is he's too nice, right? And we've always known this, but we have this beautiful arc with his dad and his mom, and we finally meet his mom, and they make her a little sketchy where you're like, oh, is she weird? No, she's actually nice, and I love that they skipped the trope of like the mom being a dick, or the mom could have been like hardcore at Vought and like says fuck the boys or whatever, but she's really like there for Huey, and she feels bad, and you understand why she left in the first place. And Simon Pegg gives one of the best performances of the whole show. In episode, I think it's 5, when he finally wakes up after taking V, and he basically kills people in the hospital, and he realizes that he has to, die, because it's never going to be the same. He's like brain dead, but he has powers. And that makes Huey come to terms with, like his dad didn't make him the person to be allowed to pull the plugs or whatever, but now Huey can do that, because Huey knows that, because Huey's dad did not want to become someone who's in a vegetative state, and Huey can't pull the plug because he loves him, and he doesn't want to lose him or whatever. And this helps Huey overcome that, and in turn, I think that's gonna propel him in the final season to make some tough calls, especially when it comes to Butcher. Butcher's arc in this whole season is probably one of my favorite arcs in the whole season, besides Homelander's, because we see him really struggling with old school Butcher who doesn't give a fuck about anyone, but now this new Butcher because he's dying and he actually does care for everyone. And by the end of the season, the nice Butcher's gone, and it's all old, mean Butcher who says, even if like fuck you Kimiko and all that, and all these other soups, I'm gonna kill everyone, who gives a fuck. And he rips Newman in half in the finale. After like Newman, all she wants, like she finally realizes she's been fucked up, and why is she working with Homelander? Because now they're threatening her daughter and stuff, and she just doesn't want her daughter to go to Red River Institute. And they finally have her, and she could be a big asset. I mean, she's one of the most durable soups we've seen on the show. They have her there, and Butcher comes in, ignores everyone, and just rips her in half. And that was fucking crazy, because now she could have been an informant for you guys. I mean, she could have put up a fight against the soups. Nope. And then he just leaves. And if you don't know, he has like venom powers because he had a tumor and he took V, and that V made the tumor like sentient. So Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in the show, and it's basically like Venom, where, and in the last episode, he's about to die due to the cancer, because like the cancer's almost like sentient, where he's like letting Butcher die, but he's like, if you and then the Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who is the tumor, is like, if you kill all the soups, if you agree to kill all the soups, I'll let you live and become stronger than ever. And when he comes in to Newman after making that, I'll kill all the soups, he looks so much younger. He looks like season 1 Butcher, and it is crazy, like the acting especially. And then we have Ryan this season, who, if you guys don't know, he's been going back and forth for the past 2 seasons on if he should be Butcher, if he should stay with his dad, Homelander. And if you remember at the end of season 3, Butcher, in a fit of rage, tells him that, what about what you did to me, Rebecca, right? And he kind of blames it on Ryan, even though he doesn't mean to do that. And basically, then Ryan goes with Homelander. Homelander defends him in public, kills the guy, and Ryan starts smiling at the end. That's the final shot of season 3. So season 4, you see him going back and forth, and he is a good kid at heart, you can tell. I mean, especially towards the end of the season, there's a lot of scenes where Ryan goes against Vought, like, and it goes against his dad, and he goes to see Butcher, but Mallory comes in, and Mallory's not an evil person. It's just Butcher's dealing with this really well, because when Ryan comes in, he says, I just can't even think right now. I have to think, right? And you know he'll make the good decision if he just thinks. But Mallory, in a fit of almost like panic and rage, is like, no, like, your dad, you know, R-worded your mom, and now you're a product of that, and your dad killed all the people on the plane, and your dad did this, and just lays all this hard-hitting shit on this poor kid, and he accidentally kills her. He and you know he doesn't mean it because they grew up together, but he accidentally kills Mallory against the wall, and that's the final catalyst where Butcher says, fuck it, all Supes are going to die, because he never really wanted to do that because he does love Ryan. And I think deep down he loves Kimiko and Starlight too. And he was always looking for a way to kill Homelander, but now he's like, fuck it, we're killing all the Supes, right? Everyone else's arc is pretty good. You get Starlight really dealing with her past, and her powers aren't really working that well. And Firecracker is just this like whole like this like redneck asshole who's like basically like she outs that Annie had an abortion, which was like washed over very quickly. But I mean, Homelander's notorious for being the only Supe ever to have a kid, right? So her having an abortion in between season 3 and 4, that's like only the second Supe ever to be able to get pregnant. Like, that's crazy. And they just, I wonder if they're gonna talk about that in season 5 or whatever. But and it's just really about her coming into her own and stuff, and her fighting that the version of herself, like the shapeshifter, really helps her like understand her values and know that her past is the past, and that's how she gets her powers. And now the show creators have said she's stronger than ever. Now she's taking in like sunlight and radiation and stuff, and not just like electricity lights. So I think she's gonna be top 5 or even top 3 strongest. And they said she flies at light speed. If you see the final scene, one of the final scenes in the show when she flies, that's like light speed. And she's gonna be very helpful because it's only her and Butcher on the outside. The finale does leave off on a cliffhanger where the Supes win. It's very Infinity War-esque, right? The Supes win, and the boys are about to go separate, but then they all get, Frenchie gets, I hope Kate and fucking dies. I know, what's his name? Sam, I think. I know he's being mind controlled by her to do all this shit, so I hope she fucking dies. But then Frenchie gets in the van, Huey gets in the van, Kimiko gets taken too, MM meets the long dick dude. This is like the 3rd season in a row him and MM have had some beef, and I just hope MM is the one to kill this guy next season, because it's like every season he gets hit by this guy's dick. It's the funniest shit ever. But he gets taken. The only people that are out is Starlight and Butcher, so it's going to be interesting to see how they all come together in the final season, and they're really setting up like this is it, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. This season did move forward a bit, but it's not super big leaps in my opinion until the end. We had that episode of Homelander in episode 4, but really the final like 2 episodes are really where everything just starts fucking going crazy, right? And just starting to hardcore set up the finale, and all this shit happens and people are dying. And I do like this season a lot, but it's definitely the weakest in my opinion, just because a lot of the episodes were kind of, you know, we had this, first off, a lot of people were mad that Frenchie's gay. Well, he's not gay, he's bi, and we've always known this since season 1, so I don't know why this was a big deal that him and this guy were like kissing and they had a past relationship, because in season 3, Kimiko says that they're like family, so he got friend zoned, but then in the end, she says, oh, I was just scared to lose you, blah, blah, and now they're together, and I love that. We get Kimiko speaking for the first time also, which was crazy, yelling no as they took Frenchie in the van. But I didn't get the point of his arc that much. I feel like it was a little filler about he killed his I mean, a lot of his arc was just overcoming his past, which I get, but I feel like it should have happened sooner in the show, because now we're ending the finale and now all this shit's coming up, so I didn't really understand that. But overall, this was a great season of The Boys. The only real thing that really irritated me was the way they treated Huey, but everything else in the show with the allegory to the election, and you know, January 6th was the date, the dates were going in, and all this stuff to the real world, but then just the story of The Boys in general with Homelander and him dealing with getting old, and seeing Sister Sage's like master plan, as she's so smart, and it was really crazy. I'm really excited to see how this ends, and I give the season like an 8 out of 10, guys. Really, I mean, it was fun. It was slow at times, but I get that you have to build shit up, so it doesn't bother me as much. But the other seasons were just batshit crazy. I still think season 3 is my favorite, but I low-key miss the feel of season 1. Like, if you ever go back and watch season 1, like, the Supes are terrifying, right? And they're still terrifying now, but like, remember like when they're in the shed with Translucent and like they're like Homelander's coming, like that was like peak like scariness of Homelander. But I'm so excited to see how it ends, guys. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down below. 8 out of 10. Cannot wait for season 5. 2 more years is gonna kill me. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. Bye bye.